Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it's Ringside Politics right here on Real America's Voice. So glad to be with you. We have a special guest now who is joining us. Tommy Pigott is with us. He is the RNC's Rapid Response Director. Hey, Tommy, thanks for joining us right here on Ringside.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Hey, a lot to talk to you about. It was a busy week, and of course, we had some interesting hearings regarding the border, and looks like the border chief is contradicting the DHS secretary. The border's not secure. We don't have control. It's a total mess. What can Republicans do about this, Tommy?
Well, I think the first thing is that hearings are so important. These hearings were not happening under Democrats. And I think it's important that Republicans are going to the border, listening to Border Patrol, actually having these hearings. That's immensely important. And then when the Republican majority came in, it's something that Speaker McCarthy hinted to. If there's evidence to suggest that Mayorkas is not following the law, then there should be impeachment proceedings. And that's something that House Republicans can do as well. So this is really important, these hearings. It's also just making sure we have leverage, that this issue is prioritized as it should be prioritized for the American people.
My own personal belief, Tommy, is that there are many cabinet members under the Biden administration that need to be impeached, including Pete Buttigieg and the President of the United States. I think he has committed crimes. We're finding out this week about more CCP money going to the Biden family. I call it the Biden crime family. This is due to the work of the House Oversight Committee. Tell us more.
Well, basically, we're having this new memo from the GOP oversight, which is, again, only happening because Republicans have control of the House, that shows a direct money trail from a Chinese-linked energy company, a Chinese Communist Party-linked energy company, to the Biden family. And I think the first reaction that we saw from a lot of the left was that, oh, this doesn't show that Joe Biden is involved, that Joe Biden knows anything. And I think it's important to remember the mountain of evidence indicating that Biden knew exactly what Hunter and his family were doing, including voicemails, text messages, emails. The list goes on. Photographs of Joe Biden with Hunter Biden's business associates. Hunter Biden's business associates being given tours by Joe Biden. I mean, the mountain of evidence is huge. And this is a direct money trail showing a direct link, again, between the Biden family and the Chinese Communist Party.
So what can Republicans do about it to try to bring about some justice here for the American people?
Well, I think the first thing to note is, again, this would not be happening without the House Oversight Committee being controlled by the Republicans. And that's why that midterm was so important. And if you look at the House Oversight Committee, this is the beginning. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I know that they are dedicated to actually bringing a lot of these witnesses before committees, demanding documents. This was the first of many, the first of much to come. And I'm confident the House Oversight Committee will bring answers to this really pressing issue.
There's so many areas of corruption. I mean, COVID, gain of function research, Dr. Fauci's role, what we were doing funding the Chinese, the origins of COVID. Are we going to get to the bottom of the origins of COVID? I know there was a unanimous bill passed in the Congress saying they wanted all the intelligence released, right?
Well, isn't it amazing that now it's unanimous as soon as the Republicans put it down? Because Nancy Pelosi didn't put this bill down, right? Nancy Pelosi didn't want to get to the bottom of this issue. But now that the Republicans are in control and Democrats can't hide behind Nancy Pelosi anymore, they're forced to actually vote on this stuff. I mean, the House GOP, again, is committed to getting these answers. We already have so much more information than we had. I'm hopeful that Biden won't. I hope Biden won't block this. I mean, he's done everything to give China a pass, but Biden shouldn't block this bill. He needs to release this evidence. The House GOP is not giving Fauci a pass. They're not giving big tech a pass. They're not giving Biden a pass. And they're most certainly not giving the CCP a pass. This, again, is just the beginning of a massive search for this evidence.
You know, one of the areas where Biden had destroyed what was going on under President Trump, we talked about the border. Energy is another area. I mean, we were energy independent under President Trump. We were getting this Keystone Pipeline completed. It was halted under Biden. He put a moratorium on drilling in federal lands and water. And now we're importing oil from countries like Venezuela. And the energy policies of this administration have led to higher gas prices for the American people, correct?
I mean, how outrageous that he would take a step to limit American production but then import from Venezuela. I mean, the Keystone XL pipeline would have been operational right now if Biden hadn't blocked it. I mean, that's how outrageous this is, and gas is still so expensive. And he, at the same time, is locking up huge amounts of energy potential in Alaska. So he's locking up energy potential in Alaska at the same time that he's saying, let's import from Venezuela. It's absolutely outrageous. He wants higher prices, a worse environment, by the way, when you import from Venezuela, and less security for the American people. It's got to stop. That's why the House GOP introduced H.R. 1, Lower Energy Costs Act, to get Biden and the Democrats on the record and push for some common sense.
And then the more we go towards solar panels made in China, EVs, batteries made in China, wind energy, turbines made in China. By the way, they're always also killing birds and killing whales and impacting our shipping in that area. So all kinds of negatives with these wind farms. But that's what the Biden administration seems to be committed to. Correct, Tommy?
I mean, it is. And what's outrageous about that as well is that John Kerry, who's a big person in this administration, the Biden administration, didn't rule out buying solar panels produced with slave labor in China. That's how warped the Democrats' priorities are. They would rather buy solar panels produced with slave labor in China than drill for U.S. oil in America. Right. It's just outrageous.
Yeah, they are. They're outrageous. They're left-wing fanatics. And it's very detrimental to the American people. And finally, your thoughts on the pending potential, much talked about indictment of President Trump, which could come as early as Tuesday. President Trump talking about it. What do you make of this entire situation, Tommy?
Well, I think it's important to remember who this DA is in Manhattan. On day one, he issued a memo that really rolled back a lot of criminal prosecutions for really dangerous criminals. He said he wouldn't prosecute resisting arrest. He's made no secret that his priority, this DA in Manhattan, his priority is pursuing his far-left agenda, no matter the cost. Not public safety, not making sure that families can actually walk down New York City streets safe. He wants to instead pursue a political vendetta. And I think that's unacceptable. He should be, instead of pursuing that vendetta, making sure that New York families are safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe he should be investigated here because I would say the Biden DOJ is probably behind this as well. And these left-wing prosecutors, to me, are anything but pursuing justice. Seems to be political witch hunts, whether it be D.C. with these January 6th quote-unquote prisoners, or now some of these liberal enclaves like New York, where they're going after President Trump again and again and again. Tommy Pigott, thanks for being with us. Appreciate your time. And keep up the good work over there at Rapid Response with the RNC. You know, we were talking about President Trump, and, of course, Joe Biden is the just polar opposite as far as energy, as far as communication ability. Talk about inappropriate. The guy is always condemning the Irish. In this clip, on St. Patrick's Day, he jokes that his Irish relatives aren't jailed and he's not a drunk. I mean, do any Irish claim this guy? Let's go to clip number 1.
The fact is that when I went over to Ireland, it was a great experience. I'd been to Ireland many times, but not to actually look up to find my actual family members. And there were so many, and they actually weren't in jail. They were all, but all kidding aside, I met the Blewitts and the Finnegans and all of the folks who we were related to. Spent 6 days there, and one of the things that and the Finnegans were from County Louth. And there's still, if you go to County Louth, there's still a place called Finnegan's Pub, which is, Reverend, it's related to my family. Now, I'm the only Irishman you ever met, though, that's never had a drink, so I'm okay. I'm really not Irish.
So according to Joe Biden, all Irish are in jail or drunk. I mean, unbelievable. Here, he tells an Irish singer that his work reminds him of when Scranton died. Let's check out clip number 2.
When you were singing, even though I've never lived in Ireland, I just kept thinking of the places that I did live with my grandparents in Scranton when Scranton died. Not died, when Scranton, everything went south in Scranton. We moved to Claymore. It just is amazing what song does.
He's just so inappropriate and just gaffe king. That's who he is. Here, someone who I call the word salad queen, Kamala Harris, tries to defend Joe Biden. Let's check out clip number 3.
He really is a true partner, and he understands the job. And remember, we came in during the height of the pandemic.
Yes.
And so much of the work was about, okay, we've got to cover a lot of bases, and let's figure out how between us we can do it. But he is an extraordinary leader, and I wish that people could see what I see, because there's only one person who sits behind that resolute desk.
People can see what she sees up close, and my goodness, what a pair. We've got probably the worst duo in American history as our president and vice president. So that's why on the poll I'm doing at crewair.net, asking the question about his mental incompetence, I mean, normally you would think, of course, remove someone like that. But then when you've got her waiting in the wings, that gives people pause. So it's just a bad situation any way you look at it. And considering the fact that we were doing so well 2 years and 2 months ago, and to see what they've done to the country is truly horrific. All right, we got a lot more to do in our second half. We're jam-packed right here on the Ringside Politics program. Thanks so much for joining us. More topics, more clips, more guests coming your way. But first, we'll have a brief time out right here on Real America's Voice. Jeff Crewair with you. Thanks so much for joining us on this busy Saturday. We'll be right back.